And welcome back, this is ballerscuba with more Let's Play Xenoblade Chronicles. I'm joined, as always, by our ready for final bosses party of Rhine, Melia, and Sharla. Dunban, Ricky, Fiora, and Shulk are along with us. I do believe that my party is at least ready for the first, well, kind of real super boss, depending on if you count Final Marcus or not. Some people do, some people don't. I don't think of them that way, at least. But even though we are possibly ready to take on some of the super bosses, there is a lot of work that I would like to take care of first. The first thing that I wanted to talk about is arts. I haven't changed the party at all, by the way. I want to talk about where you can get the arts manuals, and I would like to try to get all of the arts manuals, but in order to do that, I'll probably do it off screen because it is a lot of work. Let's start with Shulk. Shulk has a lot of arts, and I haven't even leveled up everything because I'm kind of looking at trying to get everything before I decide on actually spending a lot of these points. So, let's start with backslash for Shulk. Now, I already have it. I actually got at least 3 of these books because I just sold 2 of them. In order to get the backslash arts manuals, I have listed enemies that are less than level 90 that are unique monsters that will drop these books. And there's a reason why I did that. One, less than level 90, in case you want to do it a little bit earlier than I did, but also because it won't require you having necessarily the best party. You can kind of just bring everybody, and as long as they're used properly, you should be able to do it at a higher level. But if you want to get it earlier than this, you could. So let's start with, and unique monsters, because they always drop a golden treasure chest. There are some common monsters that will drop these, but you have to get them to drop the golden treasure chest before you can start farming, and that takes some time, a lot of time. So I am going to just talk about, once again, unique monsters less than level 90 when I could. There were some times when I couldn't, but let's talk about the arts manual. So we'll start with backslash. The 2 monsters that I had, I just try to limit it to a few here and there. The ones that I have are Mystical Clessida, who is in the middle of the 3rd lung in the Bionis' interior. It's level 72. It drops it 2.1% of the time. Luckily, I don't need to get that one. The other one is Veteran Yozel, level 83. Northeast of the Silent Obelisk in Satoral Marsh, night during fog only, and it'll drop it 5% of the time. I think I got it from Veteran Yozel, so that worked out quite well for me. Next one is Light Heal. Light Heal's a little bit easier to get, I would say, even though I didn't get as many of the arts manuals. The Flailing Bracken will drop it, level 73. At the Anti-Air Battery 2 on the shore. Remember, that's in Colony 9, that northeast section with some of the higher level monsters. It's only level 73 though, so it's not too bad. 8.8% of the time, Flailing Bracken will drop Light Heal. The other one is, once again, Veteran Yozel. Once again, level 83, northeast of the Silent Obelisk at night during fog only. And it'll drop it 2.3% of the time. Yeah, these are pretty low percentages. So I've been lucky to get what I've been able to get so far. The next one is Slit Edge. This one's a little bit rarer to get. Your best shot is Indomitable Dalton. He's level 85 in the Soter Ruins in Satoral Marsh. And he drops it 5% of the time. So I'm happy to get it. Next one on my list here is Stream Edge, and this is the first one that I actually still have to go out and get. And I might show you guys me getting one thing, but we're definitely not going to be watching me do all of them. That would kind of be ridiculous. I'll just kind of take care of it while I'm working on other things. So Stream Edge. There are 2 enemies that'll drop it. The first one is Evil Bathin. He is level 54, and he's in the Ether Exhaust System. I have to think about this one because... Oh, yeah, you can't go back and get him, can you? Level 54 Ether Exhaust System. Hold on, let me go check, because I might have added him in and then not realized that I can't go back and get it. Ether Exhaust System, isn't that in the Central Factory? Ether Exhaust System. Central Factory, McConnus Field. I swear Evil Bathin was around there. No, wait. He's in the Fallen Arm, isn't he? So maybe you can. I thought I'd try to pay attention to that kind of thing. Ether Exhaust System. Yeah, there he is. Ether Exhaust System on the Fallen Arm. So you can go back and get that one. So anyway, level 54, Ether Exhaust System. Evil Bathin is his name. 0.9% of the time. So not your best bet for Stream Edge. Your best bet is Powerful Eligos. He's on digit 1. I believe that is the spider. Level 80, but it will drop it 2.5% of the time. So that's probably where I'm going to go to try to farm it. 2.5 is not terrible, even though it sounds terrible. Next up is Shadow Eye. Shadow Eye is dropped once again by 2 monsters that I have listed here. The first one is Victorious Gross at the Pars Sympathetica Tower. It's level 73. I believe once you warp in there, you'll find it. It drops it 2.1% of the time. But I'll probably go for Bizarre Ragwell. Level 88 on the Anu Shore in Aerith Sea. That's 4.7% drop. 4.7%, so I'll probably go for that one since it's over double where Victorious Gross is. Remember, Victorious Gross is in the Bionis' interior. Next up is Air Slash. Air Slash, I'm kind of surprised that I didn't get because one of the percentages is quite high on this one. But 3 monsters that'll drop it. The easiest one is Hidden Gamagen. Hidden Gamagen is level 49 on Valak Mountain. It would be on the bridge southeast of Ignea Hill at night only. Remember, there's that giant bridge that goes across the sky. It's a little bit difficult to get to, but if you're looking for the easiest route, that would be it. Hidden Gamagen drops the book 2.2% of the time. So that would be your best bet there. Well, at least for the easiest monster. But there's also Northstar Gusian. That's also at Valak Mountain. It's level 50, and it is at the Earl Crevasse night with snow only. So if it's snowing, that's your best bet. 4.1% of the time, it will drop it. But where I'm going to go in order to get this one will be Territorial Rotbart. You guys probably remember him. He's in the Gower Plain on the Bionis' leg. He's level 82. He drops it 14% of the time. That's a pretty damn high percentage, and I didn't get it, so that surprises me a little bit. But indeed, I did not get Air Slash. I will go out and get that. Next up is Shaker Edge. Shaker Edge is only dropped by 1 unique monster. I apparently got it from this unique monster. It is Canyon Valencia. This is on the Bionis' leg at the observation platform during clear weather only. It's level 78, and it also drops the book 14% of the time. So I was fairly lucky to get it, considering only 1 monster dropped it, but it is a 14%, so that's not too unexpected. And finally, we do have Battle Soul. Battle Soul is dropped by Bizarre Ragwell, level 88 in Aerith Sea at the Anu Shore, 2.1% of the time. We talked about Bizarre Ragwell for Shadow Eye as well. So Battle Soul can be got from that one. That's really where I would recommend. So really, I only need 4. So that's not too bad for me. Stream Edge, Shadow Eye, Air Slash, and oh no, it's 3 because Air Slash is on there twice. So I only need 3 of them. That's not too bad. I'm very lucky to get that many. Shulk is kind of the hardest because everything is on his bar. And then, of course, he has all these, but these are kind of unlocked during the plot. So it's a little bit easier to unlock these, depending on what you consider easy. I consider the plot easy. But there's a lot of AP that are going to be needed for this one. That's probably not going to be done in the first playthrough, getting all of Shulk's AP the way that I want. But second playthrough should make that happen quite easily, I would say. Next up, let's talk about Rhine. Rhine has so many things already, but we'll go through them one by one in case you didn't also get them. We'll start with Bone Upper. Bone Upper, unfortunately, if you didn't get it, I was lucky to get it apparently. One monster drops it, and it's a high-level monster in terms of a unique monster. Your best bet is Eternal Palisadia. Eternal Palisadia is level 91 on top of the Exile Fortress in Satoral Marsh. And it will drop it, the book, 2.3% of the time. So good luck getting that one. I was very lucky to get Bone Upper somewhere along the way. Don't know how I got it, to be honest with you, but I am happy to have it. Next up, we do have Hammer Beat. I also have this one. Two monsters that fit my criteria drop it. The first one is Officer Robusto, level 75 in the Bionis' interior at the Venus Plexus, or Venus Plexus. It'll drop it 2.1% of the time. The other one is Powerful Elegos. Remember we talked about that spider before. Digit 1 on the Fallen Arm, level 80 spider in the back. It'll drop it 5.4% of the time. There's a lot of low percentages here. Next one is Wild Down. This is the first one that I still need. The only monster that I have that fits my criteria that'll drop it is Vivid Anston. Vivid Anston is level 75 in the third lung in the Bionis' interior, and it drops it 5.7% of the time. So relatively high, but I do need to farm that monster quite a bit. Next up is Rage, which I somehow got. All right. The best bet for you is Serene Imlali. Serene Imlali is level 76 in the Banquet Hall in Prison Island, and it drops it 4.1% of the time. So I am happy to have Rage with me. Next up is, where is it? Aura Burst. There we go. Aura Burst is pretty common, so I'm happy that I got it, but I'm not too surprised either. I have 4 monsters that will drop it. The first one is Glorious Booer. That would be in the Sealed Tower, which is Valak Mountain, I believe? Sealed Tower sounds like Valak Mountain to me. It's level 45, and it drops it 2.2% of the time. Next up is Barbaric Citri. Barbaric Citri is also in Valak Mountain. It's level 47, and it's in the Antal Den. Also drops it 2.2% of the time. Next up is Affluent Belith. That would be in the Fallen Arm in the 5th Pulse Zone. That is a level 57 monster, but it does drop the book 2.4% of the time, so slightly better. If you don't have a problem with these kinds of monsters, I would recommend that. Affluent Belith to try to get this one. But your best bet overall is Indomitable Dalton again. Level 85 in the Soter Ruins in Satoral Marsh. And if you kill it, it has a 14% chance of dropping Aura Burst. So that really is your best bet as long as you don't have too difficult of a time with Indomitable Dalton. So that's one more that I don't need. Next one is War Swing, which once again I got. Kind of lucky to get it. Only one monster that fits my criteria drops it. It would be Mysterious Barnaby. That is a monster in the Windy Cave on Bionis' leg. That shows up at level 75, but it drops War Swing 9.4% of the time. So that's a pretty damn good percentage if you don't know how percentages normally work. But considering it for this game, relatively high percentage. Next up is somewhere, I don't know where it is, Guard Shift, which I also have. It was staring at me in the face and I didn't see it. Guard Shift is dropped by 3 monsters, so I'm not too surprised that I got it. It is dropped by Vague Barbus. Vague Barbus is level 46 at the Befalgar pedestal that is in Valak Mountain. It drops at 2.2% of the time. I believe Vague Barbus was one of the elements. One of the floating... Well, the things that drop the elements. I'm blanking on the name right now. But basically those little wisp things that are always weak to ether. I just point that out because, you know, you want to bring an ether party for that. But it is only level 46. Shouldn't have too much difficulty with it. It drops it 2.2% of the time. Next up is Prosperous Zapar. This one I would not recommend you going to go get. It's on Jiffum Beach and on the Fallen Arm. The reason that I say don't go there is because there's a super boss at Jiffum Beach, and you don't want to aggro it, and it's pretty easy to aggro that one. But Prosperous Zapar will drop it. He's level 58 and drops it 2.4% of the time. But I would, once again, recommend not farming that one because it's very risky. You can do it, don't get me wrong, but it's really easy to aggro the super boss around there. And then the last one that drops Guard Shift is Field Aldrich. Remember we took him out. He's on the Crevasse Waterfall, kind of in the back section of the Bionis' leg. He's level 76, and he drops it 14% of the time, which is probably where I got Guard Shift, if we're being honest. But relatively easy to get that one, right? Nothing is easy, but relatively easy to get that one. Next up is Engage. Let's see if I can find that one. There it is. Don't have that one. Not too surprising. There are 3 monsters that drop it, but they're all kind of low percentages, so not too surprised there. The first one is Agile Barbados. He's level 47 on the Ignea Hill at night only, but he only drops it 0.8% of the time. I would not recommend going there. The best bet is Dark King Barbarous. Dark King Barbarous is in the second lung in the Bionis' interior, level 77, and it will drop it 5.7% of the time. That's where I'm going to go. Not only a relatively easy monster for my level, but it also has the highest percentage. There is one other monster that will drop it, though. That would be Stormy Belagon. Stormy Belagon is level 87 on the Cromar Coast in Aerith Sea. A little bit tougher of a monster at my level. It's still something that I have to think about from time to time, but it will drop it 4.7% of the time, which, if you remember, is 1 percentage point less than Dark King Barbarous. So I would recommend Dark King Barbarous, second long, level 77. That's your best bet for Engage. Not that I care too much, but I do need to go out and get it. Next up should be down, up. There it is. Sword Drive is next. I already have that one, which is lucky because I only have one monster that will drop it, one unique monster, and that is Immovable Gonzalez. Remember, he's the one in Spiral Valley on the Bionis' leg. He's level 90, so good luck if you didn't already get it. He drops it 2.3% of the time. I'm very lucky to get Sword Drive. This one is one of the more difficult ones to get. Next on my list is Berserker here. Berserker is only dropped by one monster, so I'll be farming this one monster. It's not too bad, I would say, but, you know, it's all random, so who can really say with any kind of certainty? It's Ghostly Mahatos. Ghostly Mahatos is level 76, spawns in the Terminal Nerve Tower in the Bionis' interior, and it will drop it 5.7% of the time. So that's where I'll be going. Next up is Last Stand. I also need this one. Not too surprising there either. 2 monsters will drop it. Agile Barbados, level 47, Ignea Hill, night only. We've gone over him before. It only drops at 1.5% of the time, so I probably won't be going for him. Instead, I'll probably be going for Clandestine Apathy, who is a level 74 monster, shows up in the second lung in Bionis' interior. It will drop at 5.7% of the time. Next up, we have Shield Bash. I do actually want to try to make this one a priority because I'm using it. It's only dropped by one monster. That would be Active Impulso. He's level 72 in the second lung, drops it 5.7% of the time. So that's where I'm going to be going for Shield Bash. Next up is, probably down, yep, Dive Sobat. Dive Sobat, once again, I got very lucky in order to get that one, not only because I use it, but because I only have one monster on my list, and it's a low percentage. The person that I have for this one is Stormy Belagon. Stormy Belagon is level 87 on the Cromar Coast in Aerith Sea, and it only drops it 2.1% of the time. So good luck getting Dive Sobat. You're gonna have to farm Stormy Belagon quite a bit. Luckily, I did get it. Next up is, oh, right there. Magnum Charge. Luckily, I got this one as well. For whatever reason, Rhine's books dropped damn near all the time. I got pretty damn lucky with him. Magnum Charge is dropped by 2 monsters. The first one is Cold Ageshu. Cold Ageshu is a level 77 monster in the kitchen in Prison Island. It drops at 4.1% of the time. But if you can handle it, the better monster to go with is Armored Rockwell. He's level 82 in Villiera Hill, underneath Villiera Hill, if memory serves me correctly. 5% of the time, he will drop that Magnum Charge. I think it had to be raining for Armored Rockwell, too. I didn't write that down, but memory serves me correctly, I did have to make it rain in order for Armored Rockwell to show up. Don't need that one, luckily. And the final one today is Anchor Chain. Or sorry, no, there's one more after this, but Anchor Chain is up next. This one, luckily, I was able to get. Not too surprising because there is a relatively high percentage on it, but still very lucky to get as many as I did. Anchor Chain is dropped by Aged Larage. Aged Larage is a level 56 monster in the Radiocarpia Coast. That is the wolf, I believe, on Fallen Arm. And it drops at 2.4% of the time. So, relatively difficult to get it from him. Your much better bet is Veteran Yozel. Veteran Yozel is, once again, that level 83 Ferris that is northeast of the Silent Obelisk at night during fog only. But it will drop it 14% of the time. So that's the way that I would go if you are short on Anchor Chain, if you can. It's much better of a shot that way. And then the last one we're looking for is Lariat. Lariat is only dropped by 1 monster, and it is not an easy monster to kill pretty much at any level, and that would be Protective Torquedon. Remember, we took that on pretty recently. It's a level 96 monster in the Heavenly Window in Tephra Cave, but it does drop it 9.5% of the time. So that's your best bet. It's pretty much your only bet unless you're willing to farm common monsters, which, once again, I would not recommend. Luckily, I'm not using Lariat, so it's not that big of a deal for me, but it's still a monster that I need to have one of my better parties for, as opposed to a lot of the other monsters that I'm trying to kill. So according to my math, that is 6 books that I still need for Rhine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, that's all of them. That's a lot of work. So total, we're looking at 9 books that I need to farm. And of course, I will be taking care of that off screen. It just makes more sense for me to do that instead of making you guys watch it.